wanted to get a broad overview of what type of modeling goes on in the Baltic Sea. And a lot of students, a lot of PhDs need to use some kind of modeling in their work, and it's quite difficult to get an overview of what is there. And also to see if there could be possible linkages between models, and you don't see the linkages unless you know what kind of models there are out there.
And one of the really nice things that have come through with this course is that we've also gotten people from outside the Baltic Sea to lecture about their modelling approaches, and maybe that's something that could be also brought to the Baltic Sea Science, something we are not doing yet, to study the dynamics that are uncertain or processes that we don't know about.
I'm working with the Baltic Sea evolution on long-term timescales, so I'm very much interested in the past climate development of the Baltic Sea and in the future climate development. And for this we need models, so I'm interested to, and I'm working with modeling of the Baltic Sea physics and ecosystem.
I'm coordinating a project where we develop indicators to follow what is the state of the Baltic Sea, and the main idea is to find indicators which are similar in all the countries around the Baltic. With these indicators we also try to relate them to human pressures, and therefore we really much try to understand what we should do as human society around the Baltic to reduce the pressure and to choose the right management actions to improve the state.
You know, the Baltic Sea has suffered severe from many things, like too much nutrients, eutrophication, inputs of toxic substances, overfishing and so on. And when we then discuss what is the most most efficient ways to improve the situation, we can then with these mathematical models see which methods are the best and to improve the situation.
I want to know what determines the long-term trends over the last decades. We have seen in the past strong changes in the community and also in the zooplankton species, and I focus on a few most abundant species, and I want to know how the climate changes have affected those species, but also how anthropogenic effects like eutrophication, overfishing, how indirectly that also affects those species.
What my job does is to look at how, well, pinpoint questions that we have to know about that when we try to manage what humans are doing to the system. So I try to highlight which things can we ignore, because there are things, we don't have to care about everything, but which things when it comes to how species interact and affect each other can we ignore, and which are really key important and affect how they respond to, for example, fishing or to climate change. So I can highlight things of saying, hey, you have to think about this if you want to save the Baltic, because otherwise you might go in the completely other direction than you thought of from the beginning. Those type of things is what I can contribute with.
The course was really great for me because I have learned a lot of new things about the different models and can communicate with different people and asking how they cope with their models. So it was quite interesting and I think very useful for me.
I think the most useful thing was probably meeting all these people and networking. Getting an idea of what people are working on in general and meeting a lot of people who are really passionate about their work. That's always really motivating. Also getting some really good advice from the older scientists and researchers.
Well, it gives you some insight into what has been done in other areas. I mean, there's very much lacking with the heterotrophic bacteria, but you can use other types of models for applying them on heterotrophic bacteria, even if they're done with zooplankton and other things. And you can also, I've also seen that there's a huge lack of knowledge when it comes to the bacteria, even though they are important for the ecosystem.
I guess there's several things. I thought some of the theoretical thinkings or models kind of made me think, or made me think deeper about what I'm doing.
No, it's a good way of structuring your thinking,
Yeah.
simply like one of the lecturers said.
I think the greatest value is the students. These students are the persons that will be important for management of the Baltic in the future, and that they meet and that they get to talk to older lecturers over a whole week. That's a fantastic value.
To me, it's always great to interact with students. Modeling, as we've discussed this week, is something that is technically difficult. It can take many directions, and the team of students in this group is very diverse and came up with very interesting and diverse questions. So it's not just me providing information to the students, but I get a lot of feedback on the science that I'm doing and on the value of that science for the research we're conducting today, but also that's going to be conducted in the future.
This modeling is not so common in the education at the university usually, and my hope is that the knowledge about the models, the shortcomings, the biases of the models and what the models can do, that the students will learn about this and can take this home and work later on doing their PhD or postdoc work with modeling as well.
It's a lasting impact on people's careers to understand each other and different kind of research. I have already now discussed with people who have questions, how could I model this kind of system, and asking that question to each other, and I really hope that during these days it will be answered.
And there has been a lot of communication between students and the lecturers going on, and I think also between students, so hopefully in the future this will be the group that will be working together with these issues.